Hello, this is Miss Cliffner with your lesson for today. It is about mixing paint, and this is lesson 7, part of unit 2, has to do with ratios. All right, so let's take a look at some things we've learned before. When we were using ratios and common quantities and dividing to compare prices for products, we learned that you could buy multiples of something, and the one that costs less is the one you want to buy. And we call this the common quantity method. You buy the same amount of each and see which one costs less. Now, another way, I called it the per method, right? Other people might not call it that, but it's dividing to find the cost per one item. So we're using those ideas in today's lesson to look at different colors of paint. So here's a ratio of paint. I'm going to call this Alexa's ratio, and she took 2 white and she mixed it with 3 red. Now the red it's smaller, but it doesn't matter. Every time we add white, it would be in gallons, and every time we add the red, it would be in ounces. And now we're going to look at 4 other students who made some paint, and we want to figure out if the paint is the same or if it's darker or lighter than Alexa's. And what I want to do first is I want to put like a little answer key here at the bottom. It's going to be lighter paint than Alexa's if it has more white or less red, right? So this is paint color. It will be lighter if you do either one of those things. Now, it would be darker, right, which is just the opposite if there's going to be more red or less white. So that's what we're using as a comparison. Okay, so now when I start out with Zach's mix, I'm going to put here Z for Zach, 1 gallon of white to 3 ounces of red. And Alexa's mixture is 2 gallons of white to 3 red. And I want you to notice that the red is the same. So I can now circle what's different is the white. Zach has less white. So when I look down here at my key, I go, oh yeah, less white means it's a darker color. So I'm going to put darker in this row. So his mixture is darker because there is less white. Okay, and now Sasha mixes a different paint combination. She does 5 gallons of white to 6 ounces of red. Alexa is still 2 white to 3 red. Now I want to make something the same, and this time it seems like the easiest way to make something the same is to multiply Alexa's by 2, because then she'll have 4 white for every 6 red. Now the red is the same, so now what's different is the white for Sasha. And Sasha has more white, right, which is the lighter color. So this one is going to turn out to be lighter because there's more white. So more white paint makes a lighter shade of pink. Okay, now David does a different combination. David mixes 3 white to 5 red. And Alexa is still at 2 white to 3 red. Now on this one, I can't just double something in Alexa's or divide something easily in David's. So what I'm thinking of doing is looking at the 2 and the 3 whites and making that a common multiple, a common quantity. So I can multiply Alexa's by 3. So she would make 6 whites, mix 6 whites with 9 red. And then David, I could double his, multiply it by 2. So his mix is now 6 white and 10 red, right? Because I just doubled his mix. The white is the same now, but the red is different, so I'm circling that. So Alexa's red is 9 and David's is 10. So David has more red, which is down here on the darker. So this mixture is darker because it has more red. Okay, the last one is Raven, and Raven has a mix, and she puts her red first. So I'm going to do 9 red to 6 white. So I'm going to switch the order for Alexa to keep it in the same order. Alexa has 3 red and 2 white. And then what I notice is I could multiply Alexa's red times 3 to get 9. So if I triple everything, I have 9 red and 6 white. Wait a minute, they're both the same, the red and the white. So the color is going to turn out to be the same. Okay, so that's the first page of notes. On the back side, I have an example 1. This is kind of like your yo. So I'm going to cross this off and I'm going to say maybe, given the activity we just did, you can figure out whose is going to be darker, Luca's or Mark's. Take a second and think about if you can make a common quantity, and then unpause the video. Okay, so a lot of students did this. They multiplied by 2, and that makes Luca's blue 12 and the white 4. So if I double everything here, then the white is the same and Luca has 12 blue, but Mark only has 8. So Luca's is darker, right? So Luca's is darker. I'm going to abbreviate the because more blue is added when white is equal, or it's the same. White is the same. Okay, and then another way that some students did this was they divided, which is totally fine too. If you notice that this is 6 ounces with, 2 gallons with 2 blues. If you divide this in half, you divide it this way. This is 2 gallons with only 4 blues, which again tells me that Luca's is darker. Okay, so one other way to tell which is darker, I'm going to call this was the common quantity method, and then I'm going to do the per method down here. So per is dividing. I divide the blue by the white, and because blue's on top, the bigger number is darker in blue. So when I create the ratio for Luca, it's 6 divided by 2 equals 3, and for Mark, it's 8 divided by 4 equals 2. In this example, the darker color is the, this is per 1, and this is per 1. The darker color is Luca's, because the number of blue is more when white is 1. Okay, so now I'm going to take that information, I'm going to put it into a table just to show you a different way to organize the information. Blue is 6 and white is 2. Blue is 8 and white is 4. So now I'm going to do the math and show you how it's organized here. If I make the same parts blue, I've got a 6 and an 8, and if I skip count to make a common multiple, I get 24. So I'm going to multiply Luca's recipe by 4, and I'm going to multiply Mark's by 3, so that both of these will be 24. But then if I'm quadrupling this blue paint, I also quadruple the white. This is triple. Okay, so now the 24 is the same. I'm just confirming. Mark uses more white when blue is the same, so it's lighter. Now I'm going to make white the same. I have a 2 here, I have a 4 here. I could divide, but multiplying is a little bit easier. So I'm going to double this recipe. 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 times 2 is 4. This recipe stays the same. I don't have to double it. 4 is the same. 8 and 12 are different. Luca's is darker because he has more blue. Okay, so now the last way is if there is 1 part white. That means I'm comparing it to 1. I need to divide the 2 to turn it into a 1. I'm simplifying the fraction by dividing by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. And on Mark's, I want to compare 1 part of white, and right now there's 4, so I need to divide by 4. So this becomes 2 to 1. So this is the per method, and this is the common quantity method. You're going to decide which method you like best, and you're going to write that down. Right here, circle it. I like the per method. I like per because I like fractions and I like to divide. Maybe you are going to say you like the common quantity because you like multiplying. I like per because I like dividing. Oops, I can't make eyes on this computer. Dividing, and I like fractions. So maybe you are going to write that you like the common quantity method because you like to multiply. Okay, that is today's video lesson. Good luck with the homework.